Good morning, students. I welcome you all to a new class in physics today. Children, in today's class, we are going to start with the last chapter of the second semester, and that is laws of motion. It is a very interesting chapter and it is very practical too. So, I begin this chapter by introducing you to a very important term in the chapter, and that is force. Children, if anybody asks you, what do you mean by force? You will say it's a physical quantity. Okay. And we all are aware of the fact that force is a physical quantity which, when applied on an object, can bring about either a change in its state of rest or motion of the body, or it can also bring about a change in the shape or size of the body. Okay, now here I have listed a few examples. For example, when there's a ball which is lying on the ground, it is at rest. Unless and until you kick the ball, it is not going to move. Similarly, in case of a steam engine, when that particular steam engine applies a force of pull on a train, it is able to pull the rest of the bogies of the train. Similarly, the force of gravity makes an apple to fall. And when you go to watch a match, if a fielder has to stop a moving ball, what does he do? He applies a force with his hands. So from these examples, it's very clear that when force is applied on an object, it can either bring a change in the state of rest or uniform motion of a body. Okay. Similarly, here I have listed a few examples from day-to-day lives which will explain you how force can bring about a change in shape or size of the body. If you have a rubber piece and you try to press it, what is going to happen? Its shape will change. You have a piece of clay. When you press a piece of clay, it will change its shape. Okay, when you have a rubber band and you stretch it, it's going to get elongated. So all these are examples of force when applied can bring about a change in the shape or size of the body. So therefore, we can define force as a physical cause because we are applying it externally, okay, physically, which can tend to change either the shape or size of the body, or it can change the state of rest or motion of a body. Okay, now let's look at another aspect of force. Now, when you're applying a force, it could be applied either to a rigid body or on a non-rigid body. Now, what is the meaning of a rigid body? A rigid body is a body which, when you apply force on that body, there is no change which occurs in its shape or size, because it's basically what happens. The interspacing between its particles does not change. That is why it is considered to be rigid. Okay, so therefore, when you apply force on a rigid body, it only brings about a change in the state of rest or motion. But on the other hand, when you apply force on a non-rigid body, like a piece of clay or a rubber band, what is going to happen? The interspacing of the constituent particles will change on application of force, and therefore it will not only bring about a change in the state of rest or motion of the body, but it would also bring about a change in the shape and size of the body. So this is very important for you to understand. Depending upon the nature of the object, force can bring about different changes. Okay, now let's look at the different types or kinds of forces. We can classify forces into two kinds: contact force and non-contact force. Children, from the name it is very clear. A force which is applied on an object, when the force is actually in contact with the object, that is considered to be a contact force. Let us see all the different types of contact forces. Frictional force is a contact force. Normal reaction force is a contact force. Tension force is a contact force. Restoring force is a contact force. And collision force is also a contact force. I would rather first I would explain you about contact force, and later on I would go to non-contact forces. Okay, children. Now here I have prepared a diagrammatic representation of contact forces. It could be asked in the exam. Now, the first type of contact force is frictional force. You know, it's a very, very common type of force. You know, when you drag something on the ground, or when you are walking on the ground or on the road, what is happening? You know, there is a force of friction which acts opposite to the force with which you're pushing a particular object. Okay, when you push a particular object, it is moving in one direction, but opposite to that force there is another force which comes into play, and that is known as the force of friction. So basically, force of friction exists when the object touches the surface. That is why it is a contact force. Now look at the another kind of force. This is normal reaction force. When you hold an object in your hand, what happens? The weight of the object is acting in the downward direction. Okay, and there is an opposite reaction force which is exerted by your hand on the object. So how does this reaction force come into play? It comes into play only after you hold the object in your hand. So therefore, it is also a contact force. And why is it called normal? Because it acts perpendicular. Okay, let us look at the third type of contact force, tension. When you suspend an object or a weight with the help of a thread from a rigid support, what happens? The weight of the object acts in the downward direction, but there is a force which acts in the opposite direction to the weight of the object, and that is the tension force in the string. Okay, so this is again a contact force because it comes into play only when the object when the object is actually touching the thread. That is a contact force. In the thread there is a tension force acting opposite to the weight of the object. Now let us move to another type of contact force, and that is restoring force. Look here, I have diagrammatically drawn it for you, and I'm going to explain it to you. You can see I have got two objects, or you can say I have two blocks which are connected with the help of a elastic string. Okay, now this is a normal condition. When I compress the spring, what is going to happen? They are going to come closer. But when I release them, what is going to happen? They're going to rebound back. Okay, so the force which is acting on the two ends of the blocks, which try to bring them back to their normal condition, is nothing but the restoring force. On the other hand, when I try to stretch the spring, okay, or the string, what is going to happen? Again, there is, when I stretch it and I release it, the blocks are going to return back to their original position because there is a restoring force which is acting on the blocks. Okay, so you can notice one very important thing, that the restoring force is acting opposite to the direction of the compression or the stretching. Okay, and it comes into play only when the objects are in contact with each other with the help of a spring. So this is again, restoring force is a contact force. Okay, children. And the last type of contact force is collision force. Okay, here I have shown two different objects, A and B, and what am I doing? I'm actually going to move them in opposite directions so that when they come closer to each other, they collide with each other. And you can see here I have labeled, when after collision what happens. On the first object I have said that's a force on A which is exerted on A due to B, and FBA is the force exerted on B due to A. Now this is a collision force, right? And due to the collision, now they are coming in contact with each other. Okay, and due to the collision what happens? They rebounds back and they move in opposite directions after collision. You must have seen you must have seen accidents happening on the road. When you see that, like if there is a collision between two vehicles, what is going to happen? If they are at a higher speed, they are going to bang, and after the collision what is going to happen? They are going to rebound back. Okay, so this is how we have covered the first type of force, and that is contact force. Very quickly we revise. I told you force is an external physical cause which actually brings about two changes, either a change in the shape or the size of the object if the object is non-rigid, then If it is rigid, then it only brings about a change in the state of rest or motion of the object. Then there are two kinds of forces, contact and non-contact. We first look at contact forces. The first one is frictional force. The second one, tension force. The third one, normal reaction force. The fourth one was restoring force. Okay, children. And the fifth one was collision force. So I want you to go through this, all these different types of contact forces with examples. Okay, and we will discuss them in detail in our interactive class. Thank you very much, children. And in the next class, we will proceed with non-contact forces. Thank you.